On this episode, we discuss some of the topics in Ed's new class, Contemporary Thai Society.
So if you ever wondered what it's like being a foreigner teaching Thais about Thailand, you'll dig this episode of the Bangkok Podcast.
Sawadee Krap, and welcome to the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who came to Thailand in 2001 because I wanted to form my own distinct society in Bangkok, just like Quebec did in Eastern Canada. Vive la Krung Thep!
And I'm Ed Knuth, an American who came to Thailand on a one-year teaching contract over 25 years ago. Fell in love with the surprise that Thai people expressed at how long I've lived in Thailand, which I think started around year 2. So I never left. So if you're here for more than 1 year, Thai people will be like, "Oh my God, you've been here so long."
Yeah, they can't believe it. Especially as the longer you've been here, you start meeting people younger than the amount of years that you've lived here.
That's right.
Well, that's just embarrassing.
I like it. I get off on it. I like it. We want to give a big thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get every episode a day early, behind-the-scenes photos of our interviews, a heads up to send questions to upcoming guests, and access to our Discord server to chat with me, Greg, and other listeners around the world. But best of all, patrons also get an unscripted, uncensored bonus episode every week where we riff on current events and Bangkok topics. On this week's bonus show, we chatted a little bit about the new class I'm teaching, which we'll go into in more detail in this episode, a proposed new pedestrian bridge over the Chao Phraya River that we hope is completed before we die, and a Thai tweet that mentioned our show that got over 10,000 retweets and 1 million views. That Rogan podcast money should be rolling in any day now. To learn how to become a patron and get all this good stuff, plus full access to over 800 bonus and regular back episodes, click the support button at the top of our website.
That's right. And as always, we want to hear from you. If you have a comment, a show idea, or just want to say hi, head to bangkokpodcast.com and click the little microphone button on the bottom right to leave us a voicemail, and we'll play that on the show. All right, on this episode, we are again inspired by Ed's position as an esteemed professor at a Thai university. Now, recently, Ed took on a new class called Contemporary Thai Society, in which he teaches his students all about, well, contemporary Thailand. Now, from economics and demographics to politics and geography, it's a fantastic way both for Ed's Thai students to learn about their own country's current events from the perspective of an outsider, and a great opportunity for Ed to learn more about Thailand. However, Ed is still finalizing the curriculum, so we thought it'd be interesting to discuss some of the potential topics, if they'd be interesting or useful to his students, and what Ed thinks about teaching Thailand to Thais. But to start off, we have a little bonus. To gauge how much his students know about contemporary Thailand, Ed gives them a quiz. So for a challenge, I thought it would be fun for me to take the quiz too, to see how well I did. And listeners, if you look at the show notes, you'll see a link to the quiz, and we want you to take it as well. So let's start things off. Ed, give me the bad news. What was my grade on the test?
Well, Mr. Greg, out of 50 questions, you actually did okay. You got 36 questions correct, which, so I'm actually still grading my students' responses, but it seems as if most of my students who are all Thai, but young, so they're 18, 19 years old,
right?
They seem to get around 30. I feel that I've been doing going through them. It's around 25 to 35. So 36, you appear in terms of just trivia, factual knowledge about Thailand. You're a bit above the curve. You seem to know more than maybe a 19-year-old Thai kid does.
Is there a game show called Are You Smarter Than a 19-Year-Old?
well,
I mean, that's a solid 72%, which is pretty consistent with my entire educational career in school. So it's about right. Solid C plus student.
Well, you and I talked about this a bit on the bonus show and in between the show. The bottom line is my students, who some of them might be listening right now, so welcome students if you happen to be listening. they are 18, 19 years old, and you and I have been living in Thailand as adults for much longer than that. And so if you really think about it, when you're a kid, you barely know your name until you're maybe 10 years old, And so they have maybe a decade of learning stuff about Thailand, whereas we have more 20, 25 years. And so I often tease my students about how few places they've been to in Thailand, compared to us, because we came here as adults, so we've been everywhere. And my students will, maybe they've been to Chiang Mai or they went to Phuket, but you and I would crush them in terms of just the number of provinces we've been to in Thailand.
Right. It's a little bit unfair because as outsiders, we have an innate curiosity about our new home. And I'll bet you there's Thai people in Canada who could destroy me on a general knowledge Canadian quiz, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, that's the weird thing that a lot of times people are more ignorant of their own, where they live. People tend not to know that much about it. And also, you and I have the benefit of the podcast. Like you and I have been doing this. You've been doing it longer than I have, and we have such a diverse group of guests that it does kind of boost our trivia knowledge. And plus, you and I do the trivial Thai stuff. So we're not typical expats. I think we can agree. You and I are not the typical expat.
I hope not. No, we're better than that.
But listeners, we love you. But listeners, we love you.
You remember that great old 80s movie, Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins? Best last line of a movie ever, after The Lost Boys, of course, where he says, "Chun, you're amazing." And he goes, "No, I am better than that," which is pretty funny.
All right. I don't know if we're better than amazing, but I'll take whatever I can get.
No doubt. But I think it's interesting that you, an outsider, are teaching a course on contemporary Thailand. And I'm really interested in sort of your mindset. So, like, if, people have asked me to come on their podcast and talk in Thai. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. What was your reaction when they asked you to teach a course on Thailand to Thais?
Well, in this particular case, that's a long story how they ended up offering the class to me. But in this case, I didn't really hesitate. Because number one, this is a course. It's a general course it's not for students, let's say, majoring in Thai studies. This is a general course offered to the whole university, and it's just meant to cover what it sounds like major issues in Thai society today. And again, I'm not an expert, but I have been here 25 years. I am a lawyer by education. I've been lecturing about social science and liberal arts, for 17 years. And already in some of my other classes, I do talk about Thai stuff as a point of comparison. And then, of course, I've got the podcast. And I mentioned this on the bonus. I'm not sure if I'd never done the podcast, I'm not sure I certainly wouldn't have agreed straight away. But as soon as I read the course description, I was thinking, well, just from the podcast, because you and I just tend to hit all kinds of issues, whether it's air pollution or crime or you and I it's because we do
a really broad curiosity.
It's really broad, and so I just assumed that through the podcast, and then of course I'm doing work, I'm prepping for the course, that I could pull it together, and I do like to do different stuff, and so but I've taught one class already, and so I did have to kind of explain to the students, so my opening joke was, learn about Thailand from a white guy from Ohio. I'm teasing my students, this is your dream to learn about your own country from a white guy from Ohio,
From Chuck from Ohio.
That's right.
What is their perspective? Like if someone, if I was a Canadian university student and someone came in and was like, "Hey, I've lived here for
some
20
Japanese,
years,
some Japanese guys I'm going to teach you about Calgary."
Yeah, I'd be like, "All right, but I mean, maybe a Canadian."
Do you have the accent? You would ask them, "Do you have the accent? Do you got the Canadian accent?"
How's it going, eh? Yeah. So, what are your students think about?
Well, they seem to handle it well. I mean, these are students that know me already from last semester, so they're freshmen. But I did kind of make a pitch or make an explanation, which I actually think is valid. I mean, you said it yourself in the intro that I am an outsider, but that gives a perspective. I don't think you would want only an outsider's perspective. Like, they can learn about Thailand from other Thai people all the time, watching the news and listening to Thai podcasts. But I think it is worthwhile to hear what foreigners have to say about your country. And I love hearing what my students say about the U.S., especially if they've traveled there, or students of mine who are exchange students. I love asking them, what they thought of the U.S. And even just being in Bangkok, obviously, you and I are exposed to all kinds of expats from around the world. I've never get tired of it. I'm fascinated, especially because I teach American studies. So I'm an insider. I'm an American who's outside of the U.S., but teaching about the U.S. And I'd love, it's something I just never tire of, what other people think about the U.S. And so this was kind of my opening pitch to them. I said to them, like, my word is not final really about anything, sure, let alone about Thailand. But I can, I also, I am a lawyer, and I do have years of experience teaching social science and liberal arts. So, I can just give them the facts. I can teach them I can give them the household debt to GDP ratio. I can teach them just because it's data.
Right, and like you said, you've lived here for 25 years too, and that you can't help but build up a certain level of street cred. So you've earned it. Yeah. I think it's legit. I'm not questioning that. So I think it's interesting.
Yeah, and so part of the reason why you and I did the show is because I wanted to get your take on what you think I should talk about, and then even listeners, if you guys have any thoughts. There's certain issues in the course that I feel like I have to cover, like some gimmes. So I'm gonna mention those first. But really, the kind of whole point is to maybe brainstorm. And so, of course, I've hit up ChatGPT and Gemini for thoughts. And so I'm going to throw some maybes out to you. But there's a couple gimmes that have to be discussed. The first gimme is we have to talk about Thai politics because we have an election coming up in approximately 1 month. And the classic question in Thai politics, like the ultimate question in Thai politics, is just this question of, are we free from the cycle of coups and democratic governments? And then it's kind of, there's a thing in Thai political science, or people who do Thai studies, that they call the vicious cycle of Thai politics. And right, it basically is a repeating cycle really since 1932, which is, democracy or semi-democracy followed by a crisis, some type of crisis followed by military intervention, followed by tearing up a constitution and dictatorship, sure, then democratic reforms, and then the cycle repeats. So the vicious cycle. So the golden question is, are we past that? Okay. And so this, I have to talk about this question of, as a Thai person, should you feel optimistic right now that the days of coups are past? Or is it smarter to be counting down and going, okay, how long is it going to be?
Right. And this is something we mentioned in a previous show too about the same old stuff in Thailand.
Of course,
I made a comment like, say what you will about Donald Trump being, blowing shit up and throwing grenades everywhere, but at least he's trying something new.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Trump is new. Yeah, that's right.
Probably not for the best, but at least it's like you can measure it,
Agreed.
Whereas here it's like, well, yeah, okay, we've been doing this just wash, rinse, repeat for a while. I'd love to see something new.
Yeah, so especially because we've got the election coming up, and of course we had Kun Tao on the show, who's in the election. So I got to talk about that Thai political issue, and then the big economic question. So obviously the Thai economy is complex. There's a lot of mini issues with the Thai economy, but the big question is can Thailand break out of what most people just call the middle income trap, which is very simple, to put it in simple terms, it just means that Thailand economically developed up to a point and seems to be kind of stuck. In other words, you and I have talked about this before. Thailand is seriously ahead of countries such as Cambodia and Laos and Burma, but it seems stuck beneath countries such as South Korea or Taiwan or Japan.
At the same time, the countries like Malaysia and Vietnam are rising real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Vietnamese GDP is just about to surpass Thailand right now. And so this question, Thailand does seem stuck at a certain level of development. And so that is in terms of economics, that's the key question. What is causing this trap, and can Thailand break out of it? What does Thailand need to do? So those are the two questions that must be covered. But then there's other, then I have a lot of options. Like in the whole semester, I'll probably have time to talk about, we'll see how it pans out, but maybe as many as 10 different topics. So I've only got two. The third one that I feel that I also have to talk about is this kind of demographic time bomb, which has to do with the low fertility rate in Thailand.
Right.
And also many other countries around the world, certainly not only Thailand, but Thailand is one of the worst. Thailand has extremely low fertility right now. I think it's around 1.0, which is extremely low.
Really, that low? Eh?
Yeah. So you need basically 2.1 babies per couple to I think maintain the same popularity, or the replacement rate is 2.1.
Right.
And Thailand is like less than half of that. And so this is just a major social issue. I mean, it's also true in Japan, in China, and a bunch of other countries. So it's not only Thailand.
Right.
But I think I have to talk about that, the low birth rate.
No, that'll be really interesting to discuss. I don't think a lot of young people think about it. And I remember distinctly that was the very first time that that showed me that economics and statistics could be interesting, because I remember reading, this was years and years ago now, but I remember reading that for the first time, more adult diapers were sold than young babies' diapers.
Oh shit!
In Japan.
Oh, that's a weird stat. Well, I've actually never heard that. That's pretty funny. More adult diapers are sold than more baby diapers.
Yeah, and I heard that. I'm like, wow. And it suddenly dawned on me, like, well, what does that say? Like, there's so many ripple effects from that, right? That's
stark. That particular data point is pretty stark.
Well, if Thailand keeps having 2.1 or 1.0 fertility birth rate,
no, it's going to happen for sure.
Yeah, soon. Yeah.
Well, so Gemini and ChatGPT have given me a bunch of other thoughts, but I don't know. Do you have anything? So here's a question that came up talking to a friend. You and I actually mentioned the idea that in Thai schools, we don't think they get to hear any nitty gritty about Thailand. So that the Thai public schools, I don't even know for sure, but I think it's fairly full of propaganda. I mean, I don't know exactly how bad it is, but I don't think they study problems in Thai society. You know what I'm saying? So I'm debating about, I don't want the whole semester to be darkness and gloom, but do you think I should talk about gambling or prostitution, or should I talk about these dark stuff? I mean, these are real issues in Thai society that I'm not sure that I don't think Thai schools teaches that stuff.
I would know, but I don't think there's anything wrong with like doing both sides of it, like saying gambling, some people think it's terrible for these reasons. Other people think you're an adult and you're free to make your own decisions. Here's where Thailand sits on it right now. What do you think? And I know asking us from experience, asking a class of Thai students, what do you think, is usually met with crickets, but
right. Well, I just don't know. I have a lot of discretion to just, again, like I said, I don't want it to be gloom and doom. Like, stuff, I thought like a sub theme of the course could be, because I am a foreigner, I'm an outsider, talking about how Thailand is perceived by the rest of the world and like evaluating that. What do people think of when they think of Thailand? And, you and I have talked about this. I think, in my opinion, internationally, I think people think of Thai food first. I think that's number one outside of Thailand. I think number two is probably beaches and tropics. Like I just remember before I moved here, when I thought of Thailand, I thought of tropics and beaches, stuff like that.
I would say number two would probably be prostitution.
I was going to say number three. So that I was going to say, my point was going to be, I think Thai food comes first. I personally think beaches come second. But the third thing, like internationally, that people think about is red light districts and stuff.
I think a lot of Thais would be surprised or shocked or pissed off that it rates so high. You should show that old Saturday Night Live commercial they did for Rosetta Stone. You know, the parody commercial.
Yeah, that's
where
right.
All the guys were like, I'm learning German so I can talk to my babushka. I'm learning Greek so I can go to Athens.
Right.
And then there's the guy, this creepy guy who goes, I'm learning Thai so I can go to Thailand and do things.
Oh shit!
You know?
Oh shit!
And it got a huge laugh. It was very popular when it came out 10 years ago or so.
I don't think I've ever seen that. But this is these are the kind of choices I have. Like, do I want to like do I want to get into this or not? I mean, it's something that we, you and I don't do red light stuff on the show, but we do serious social issues. So I mean, it's a legitimate, actual academic topic. It's not. I'm not just goofing off. Mm-hmm. It's like it's a legitimate topic, and it's probably something they haven't studied. I don't think they talk about. I could be wrong, but I think in American schools there is a focus on, holy shit, we have this problem with gun violence. We've got this problem.
It doesn't appear to be. It doesn't appear to be anything.
No one's solving it. No, in schools
exactly,
it's definitely being talked about, but no one's doing anything about it. But anyway, let me give you some of the. I'm curious your feedback on some of the topics that I've gotten from Gemini.
Okay.
So here's a phrase that I didn't know what it meant. So here's how Gemini phrased the question: is Thailand's dependency on mass tourism an economic lifeline or a Dutch disease?
A Dutch disease.
So I had to ask more questions to figure out what they were talking about, and it's actually a very interesting point. Apparently, the Netherlands discovered. I don't need the details, aren't important, but apparently they discovered like natural gas, like in the 80s, which is a resource. So you think it would be something good, right?
Okay,
it's like,
yeah.
Okay, we discovered natural gas, but apparently it caused a whole bunch of problems. Like I don't even understand the whole story, but it ended up. The way I understand it, it ended up being that the Dutch focused on this thing because they thought, we have this special thing, we have natural gas, and they neglected other things. And so the long term impact was bad. So they have this, it's kind of like you have something that you think is the golden goose.
Sure.
Like we've got this golden goose, and so you're like, fine, awesome. But you neglect everything else, and then the golden goose ends up not being what you thought it was. So I never thought about this before. Like this is an interesting question. So what they're saying is tourism bad for Thailand in a way that they rely on it too much?
Okay, first of all, that's the dumbest metaphor I've ever heard. A Dutch disease. Why don't they use a double-edged sword or just the word liability? So
apparently, I don't know. I mean, apparently this is a phrase that Gemini didn't make it up. This is like some economist coined the phrase.
Well, good for them. Anyway, no, I think that's a great question, and especially when they talk about things like environmental degradation and over tourism and things like that.
Right.
It's a huge problem in contemporary Thailand. Definitely, you should be asking questions about that.
Maybe reliance on tourism is bad for Thailand. Like, it's like, again, the issue here is
over-reliance on tourism.
Right. Well, the issue is it seems to be a strength. Oh, we have these beautiful beaches. This is awesome. But then it comes back to bite you in the ass in some other way.
Yeah, no, I think like then you can use the thing that they're doing in Maya Bay where they shut it down for several months out of the year to let nature and wildlife recover, and they're actually protecting and investing in the resource rather than exploiting it until it's gone and no one goes there anymore, which is a no-brainer. But
okay. Okay. So I'm glad that you like that topic.
No, I think it's good. I think it's good.
Okay. Here's one that I think you and I both will like. And again, I did not feed this to Gemini. It came up with this on its own. Is soft power a legitimate economic strategy or just a national branding exercise? This is good. I don't know. Like, you and I have joked about how we're sick of hearing about soft power. But I never really thought about whether it's actually a good idea. Like, does it work or not?
I think it works, but I think the real question is how long can you make it last? of course, the champions in this regard are Americans. Of course, their soft power has been going strong. Hollywood and music for 100 years. But I'm trying to think like South Korean soft power is massive. What's the other soft power that has faded? Like, what about the UK invasion, the British invasion in the 60s when the Beatles and the Rolling Stones? How long did that go on for?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any examples of where soft power just sort of petered out and everyone was left going, hey, remember us? We were cool.
Right.
To be frank, it would probably also let you talk about some topics and people and personalities that young kids would probably be more familiar with too.
Oh, here's an issue. I'm not sure I could talk about this, but it is an interesting question. It has a question about, basically the question is about Thai identity, and is Thailand a melting pot or what it calls a divided house for migrant workers? Because Thailand has a huge amount, I think 5 million migrant workers who, in Thailand, there's a guest worker visa category. So there's about 5 million people who are here illegally, but they're not on any kind of path to citizenship. And I think that, in the U.S., we've spent a lot of time thinking about how we're a nation of immigrants and, like
same in Canada.
The melting pot. But that is not a Thai thing. Thai people don't think that way.
I'd be interested to hear, use me as an example, like as a foreigner who wants to get Thai citizenship. Will I be Thai if I get citizenship, or will I be a foreigner with a Thai passport?
I mean, I think we know the answer, but I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know, or maybe I am. Because I haven't applied for citizenship, but maybe a question about Thai identity. Maybe that could be interesting to talk about. I'm curious what they think. I think my guess. My students are pretty open-minded. They're studying liberal arts. I think they would have no problem with us getting passports, but I don't think they'd call us Thai.
Yeah, like they would. No one would ever say, "Oh, this is my Thai friend, Greg."
Right.
Like, what are you crazy?
And then you'd walk in the room and be like, "Holy shit!
What the hell?"
All right, here's another Gemini possible issue. Has sevenization killed the traditional Thai community? So this is this issue of how 7-Elevens have become ubiquitous and shut down like family marts and family-owned businesses. So they're calling it sevenization.
Oh, but that's an old thing though. It's another interesting memory of mine of when I first learned more about economics and found it interesting was when I learned about, I forget the name of the strategy, but it's something that McDonald's and Starbucks use, and they analyze satellite photos of cities and the historical growth and where the future things are planned, and they plan out future locations of their franchises in the locations where population booms are going to go. So, and then of course there's the old story about Starbucks moves into a neighborhood and all the independent coffee shops die. So calling it 7-Elevenization or whatever is just a new name for an old strategy, but it's still a very good question.
I can't imagine. It's funny that I feel like when we got here, there already were a lot of sevens. So I can't imagine. For me, Thailand and 7-Eleven are kind of almost like the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, they've got a 7-Eleven on my soy, and then across the street they've got another one, and they just closed it down for a few months and reopened it, and it's like triple the size it used to be.
Dude, I have 5 within. I would say 10 minutes. To be fair, it's probably about 10 minutes. I have 5 within 10 minutes of me.
Oh my God. You can share the old Onion headline with them too about how a Starbucks opened up a Starbucks in a Starbucks.
That's great. Dude, we have to come on. We got to come up with some. So these ideas are good, but I want to come up with some just kind of new angle, like something happening in Thailand, like some brand new question. We got to come up with something. Or listeners out there, you got to help me out here. I want to surprise my students with some cool issue.
I would really be interested, for the good of the country, if you sort of worked in a geography angle to some of this and maybe made it more, you could use the Cambodia thing, or you could use the migrant issue or something like that. But undergirding it all, could be introducing them to geography and getting more familiar with geography. Because, of course, the old joke is that Thais are just not very good at reading maps. So,
I mean, to be honest, they did not do great on the quiz on geography stuff. But, the course is supposed to be contemporary Thai society.
But there's so much that works into that. Like, what about, China damming the Mekong River upstream, which affects Thailand downstream? What does that say for the economy of Isan? And all the people that rely on the water and the rivers and things like that. What about, Thai sovereignty and the sultanate that used to belong to Malaysia that now belongs to southern Thailand and the ongoing thing there? What does that say about sovereignty of a country, about, cultural membership? Like, what if the people who live in southern Thailand think they belong to northern Malaysia? Is that a legitimate thing that should be recognized?
I like that stuff.
These are all just interesting questions that I would like to discuss.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sensitive about talking about Thai identity issues because I mean, all of these issues, obviously, in the end, it's for Thai people to decide, but especially questions of identity. Right. It's like that's the last thing you want to hear a foreigner talk about is what does it mean to be Thai? Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Anyway, let me throw out some other ideas here. So this I like this topic, but I don't know what to say about it. I've always been fascinated about the difference between just Bangkok and the rest of Thailand. And I remember when a close friend of mine said to me once, "We don't live in Thailand, we live in Bangkok." And but it's very true that just Bangkok and the rest of the country are so different from each other, and that's a fact. But I don't know what what's the issue, what's the thing that I could turn into something to study. Like there is an urban-rural divide. It's just a matter of fact, right? Well, but what's the issue? Like what's the I think it's a reality of Thailand.
Well, like we say, Khao San is not Bangkok, and Bangkok is not Thailand.
Right.
I'm a big fan of asking questions and trying to get responses to drive debate, but I'm not sure how successful that is in your university's classrooms. but I would say, is Bangkok deserving of the protection that it gets at the expense of surrounding communities? Like when the flood waters come in, they flood the rice fields around Ayutthaya to protect the capital. Like, do we deserve that? I don't know. I think so because I live here.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Right. I'm guessing if I did more research, I could come up with more specific cases. The irony of this topic is it was actually something that, like, I think Thaksin was the first prime minister who basically said we need to give more power to the provinces. Like this is one of his big things because he's from Chiang Mai himself. He's from the north, so of course he's a champion of the farmers who are mostly in the northeast. But I think he was the first Thai prime minister that said Bangkok gets too much money. The provinces don't have enough say. So he was for devolving power to the provinces, but then he ran into 1 million other problems.
Yeah, no kidding. That's an interesting one too. I think that's really good, but that also plays into the issue of sort of this class divide, the economic divide in Thailand, and some people, there's probably conspiracy theories who are saying it's in the people at the top. It's obviously in their best interests to keep things like this. So,
right.
Empowering the provinces more would work against them. So of course that's something they would fight against.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. Does Bangkok does any capital city deserve the majority of the funding for?
Right.
For.
Well, I think I have to bring up, or I want to find a way to bring up just the Thai educational system. The irony is, and I mentioned this in class 1 with my students, the irony is that in, I think it was around 2005, I went to, it was basically an educational conference where they brought in a bunch of international education experts, and the Thai government was there presenting their plan. So this was Thai government's like vision for the future of Thai education. So this is 20 years ago. And it was great. it basically, it's like all these people who worked for the Thai Ministry of Education were great. They had like independent experts and outsiders,
Right?
and they're like, we're going to teach critical thinking. We're going to teach like digital knowledge. And I, this was 2005. I'd already been in Thailand for 5 years, and but I hadn't learned some key lessons, and so I was like, holy shit! Like they're on the ball. I was like, in 3 years, it's going to be a totally different country. Like I was surprised at how professional it was and how it was up to date. It was modern. They have experts from Harvard, and it's like, holy shit! Like this is exactly what this is what I would have said they need to do.
Yeah.
And then nothing happened.
Yeah.
For 5 years, then 5 years later, then 5 years. So I feel like nothing, whatever they said they were going to do in 2005, none of that has happened.
It was the first-hand experience for me, because when I started teaching too back in the day, I was really excited, and I was a new young teacher, and I was like, okay, we're going to do debates, and we're going to do questions and answers, and I want you to be a guest teacher for a class and stuff like that. And some of my students, like the keeners, the ones who are really good in English and stuff, they were like, this is fantastic, really exciting, and then a few weeks later, I was called in to the head of the school, very friendly old lady, but she basically just said, just stand there and read the book, don't try too hard, just shut up. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah,
but this is the government's place. These are the bosses, allegedly. This is the Ministry of Education.
Remember what Kun Tao said about the most powerful political party in Thailand is the bureaucrats who have been there for 20 years.
Well, there's something in the way, this is, took me long to learn this lesson, is that there's actually not a shortage of good ideas in the Thai government. There's not. It's not an idea problem. There's something else. There's something else in the system, some systemic barriers. It's not ideas.
I recently had a sit down with a government agency too, some fairly high level people at a government agency, and it was inspiring. They were great. They were smart, and they were asking good questions, and they seemed to be really interested in our answers. And you see all this. It's not that I've seen it many times over the years where but
then nothing changes and nothing happens.
Nothing
happens.
happens.
So I got to somehow, again, I'm gonna have to do more research, and my students are a product of this system. And the thing about, again, this gets back actually to the Bangkok rural divide. Bangkok schools, I would say on average, they're not great, but they're actually not horrible. But once you get outside of Bangkok, I think the quality drops way off on average. Yeah. Obviously there's a couple good schools in Chiang Mai, a couple good schools in Korat, whatever, Phuket, they got some international schools. But I think on average, like that's why if you look at, the English language scores of Thai students, they're the worst in ASEAN except Cambodia. It's like they're the second worst.
Yeah.
And that's not Bangkok Thais that are pulling it down. It's the rest of the country.
Yeah. I'd be really interested to hear what they think about being in the middle between America and China. And
interesting.
Their role in what they play. Like both countries are superpowers, both want to establish a footprint in Southeast Asia. Traditionally, Thailand has a long history with America, but also with China, although they've only reached superpower status much later. So I just saw a headline the other day about how Thailand is tilting towards China.
Well, obviously Trump's tough to figure out, but the most common explanation for Trump is that he's going to focus on the Western Hemisphere, and he's going to kind of abandon the rest of the world, and that would leave Thailand to be a client of China. So
huge opportunity for China.
Yeah. I mean, that could be a topic. I could ask my students what they think about that. I mean, they're actually studying American studies. So if any Thais would not like that, it would be my students. But anyway, I appreciate your feedback, and listeners out there, if you have some cool, interesting topic in Thai society, there's certain, like I said, I've got maybe 10 things I could probably I will cover, and I feel like 3 or 4 I have to talk about, but that leaves some room that if I can come up with cool, unique angles or new issues, I'd like to do that. So I need ideas.
Yeah, BangkokPodcast@gmail.com. If you're a patron, get onto Discord and chat with us there. Send us some ideas.
Yeah,
and again, If you look at the show notes, there's a link in there. Click on that. Take the quiz that Ed made. It's really, really good. It's very varied and very broad. And see if you can beat my score, 36 out of 50. I'm throwing down the gauntlet.
There you go.
There you go. Take it. All right, let's get into some love, loathe, or live with, where one of us picks a particular aspect of living in Bangkok, which we discuss to decide if it's something we love about living here, loathe about living here, or have come to accept as something that we just have to learn to live with, no matter how we feel about it. This week, Ed, what do you got for me?
All right, I got a classic one for you. I know this is not perfectly suited for you, but I think it would still apply.
Okay.
To me, I get this most often in taxis. And I know that you take taxis a lot less than I do because you drive, but of course you still sometimes are in a taxi, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I'm just curious, how do you react to just the classic repetitive conversation where the taxi driver wants to know your story and they start asking you, like, where are you from? How long have you been in Thailand? So the conversation you've had a million times. I think you're just a warmer person than I am. You're friendlier. Like, are you like just cheerful and happy to tell them?
No.
Say the same thing. Oh, you're not. Because it's the same. Because we've heard the question so many times. That what is your reaction?
I usually just, unless I'm feeling particularly saucy that day and want to have a conversation, I say 95% of the time I just have my headphones in, and if they do say something, I make it a point to take my headphone out and go, sorry, I can't. And then I politely answer the question, and then I put my headphone back in.
Dude, you're less. I take back what I said. I thought you were friendlier than I was.
No, I'm a jerk.
I thought you were like just a gregarious dude. Gregarious Greg.
I'm Greg. I'm not Arius. I just like sitting in the back of a taxi and chilling out with my podcasts and my video games. That's it.
That's almost, you might be worse than me.
I also have a kid, so getting any time alone by yourself without any noise is a little vacation anyways.
All right, that's true. Well, my thing with it is, I try to be friendly and optimistic about it, and then I think of this as an opportunity to use my Thai. So I kind of go into it with a good attitude, but it ends up crashing and burning because it doesn't take very far before like we just hit a wall. It's the wall of their English and my Thai. So I think I'm a live with. Like it's like I want to love these interactions, and it should be a way for me to work on my Thai. And by now I should have 15 minutes of game.
100%.
But
100%.
I don't. Yeah. I've got about 2 minutes.
And let me be clear. This is totally, I should not be doing what I do. I should be saying, hey, I've got 15 minutes of a Thai lesson for free.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah. So to me, it does end up usually being depressing, but I'm going to go live with.
There's no way I could loathe it. I mean, they're just trying to have a little bit of conversation, but I live with because I like to live inside my podcasts. Nice.
Alrighty, a final thanks to our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a ton of cool perks and the warm fuzzy feeling knowing that they're helping in our never-ending quest for cool content. Find out more by clicking support on our website. And connect with us online. We're Bangkok Podcast on social media, bangkokpodcast.com on the web, or simply bangkokpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners and always reply to our messages. Unless, of course, you're an Asian who sends endless pitch emails on behalf of a client.
You know who you are. All right, you can also listen to each episode on YouTube. Send us a voicemail through our website. We'll feature that on the show. Hit me up on Blue Sky, where I am BKK Greg. Thank you for listening, everyone, and we'll see you back here next week.
No doubt.